What is the definition of malware? I would say if a piece of software is so bad that each and every person who buys it should return it for a full refund, that's malware, baby. This video is about three different things. The gap between reviews on YouTube, the reality of what you get in terms of both hardware and software on Evercade, and the kind of respect I feel for the reviewers, it prompts me to be slightly philosophical. You know, I'm a member of the audience as well as a content creator. Somebody like No Swear Gamer, if you guys don't know the YouTube channel, gives a very sober, calm, down-to-earth, seemingly mature set of reflections on every cartridge and every game he talks about. And he's covered the whole history of video gaming, going all the way back to the Magnavox Odyssey and the Atari 2600. But his reviews are wrong. I'm not just saying I differ with him like on matters of opinion. I really, genuinely, sincerely mean this guy is saying things in his reviews I can't rationalize as being a mere difference of opinion. I have to tell you, this is wrong. This is misleading the viewer. This is mind-blowingly, jaw-droppingly wrong if you know what it is he's reviewing. Now, with retro games, you at least have the option most of the time of firing up an emulator to try before you buy. So, I mean, some of you with this, you may have tried each and every game on the cartridge via an emulator first before you buy the cartridge so you don't have to rely on the reviewer. But even so, part of what's being reviewed is the emulation. Part of what's being reviewed is the menu system built in, exactly how it is you interact with the game, how the controls work. And that's not going to be the same when you run it on an emulator. One of the Atari cartridges was the one that blew my mind most recently with No Swear Gamer, by the way. Not this, not either one of the Intellivision collections. You know, I am a fan of particular authors. I'm a fan of particular publishers. But the strange way in which video game critics cease to be critical does not seem to happen ever in the realm of books. It's very strange. Now, in the history of cinema, have you ever known someone who has the attitude like, oh, well, this movie is from Universal Pictures, therefore I love it. Like, I've never, even the producer, nobody feels the way. I'm going to rationalize and support this film. And, admittedly, maybe you have a crush on the actress. Maybe you're in love. Maybe, like you literally lose your objectivity because you're so aroused by, one of the lead actors or actresses. Okay, maybe. But, this very strange sort of brand loyalty and the way in which people cheer for a console, they cheer for the hardware, they cheer for the company behind the hardware, and then it just totally distorts what it is they have to tell you about the software. Now, I gotta say, one of the guys that's on my mind is PK in the Universe. I have been banned from commenting on PK in the Universe's YouTube channel under two different accounts. And the more recent one, which is this account, I remember it vividly. He was previewing, rather than reviewing at that time, the new Evercade Pocket, which is also called the Hyper Megatech. This is the small pocket-size Evercade system that runs Tate Mode games built in. There's a separate one that runs Capcom games. He's reviewing this thing, or previewing it, and he's looking at the same specs I'm looking at. It hadn't been no one had it in their hand at that point. It wasn't released to the public. And I point out, look, what you're saying about being able to play games in Tate mode, so vertical orientation versus horizontal orientation, it can't be true because I've looked at the specs and just count the number of pixels. It's not possible, like there aren't enough pixels vertically to display these games in that aspect ratio. Like, think it through. So here you are hyping up this console that one of the great things about it is going to be playing in Tate mode. And he wrote me this nasty comment in reply, and then he banned me. Now, in what sense was it nasty? He was just saying, like, the level of criticism I'm bringing to this is wildly irrational. Guys, a screen is composed of pixels. How well the hardware works, how well the software runs, whether or not you get shimmering, screen tearing, whether or not it can do pixel perfect, like how well it can render the image, whether you're talking about a game from 1985 or 1995. Oh yeah, count the pixels. Like, he's acting like it's wildly unreasonable for me to count the pixels. And again, I'm choosing PK in the universe because he's one of the guys I've interacted with this way. What? How do you lose your objectivity to that extent? Whether it's with the hardware or the software or like the brand name somehow that's behind the company. Guys, part of me still loves Sega as a company. What percentage of Sega's products are just garbage? What percent of their products, not even garbage, it's that they're poison. Like, I wouldn't want my kid to play. I wouldn't let my child or grandchild play it. It's just terrible. I mean, if you actually sit, probably when you think Sega, you only remember off the top of your head the 5 or 6 games you love most. Oh yeah, you think Sega is such a wonderful company? Why don't you make a list of the top 10 flops, the top 10 failures, the top 10 betrayals you felt when Sega did you wrong as a customer? Like, just come on. Again, if this were a book publishing company, you'd be like, oh no, this is a Penguin edition. This is a good book. Like, what the fuck? So Penguin is the heartless corporation making money out of pouring the ink onto pieces of paper. Yeah, right. So, Evercade is the corporation that makes the money out of the ink and the plastic case. Are you joking? So yeah, I'm being self-critical here because there are kind of 2 layers of self-deception. There's the self-deception of these people on YouTube who are not making money out of this. They're not. PK in the universe is not paying his rent because of his commentary and his hype, his completely uncritical praise for Evercade videos. Neither is No Swear Gamer. You got to be joking. There is no money in the game. They're deluding themselves. And I'm deluding myself about these people too. I did a review on my main channel, my most popular channel, a couple months ago, a famous novel. It's a romance novel, it's an historical novel, but it's mostly about politics. Politics of the French Revolution, politics of the rise and fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. It's that kind of novel. And it takes a certain kind of brilliance. It takes a certain kind of genius. It takes a certain number of decades of prior research and reading and analysis and familiarity with the historical background and political background to do a video like that. Not everyone can present, the kind of passionate 1-hour discussion of the politics of Stendhal's Chartreuse de Parma that in the video. I thought No Swear Gamer could accurately review Circus Atari. I thought I could trust this guy talking about like Atari arcade games, and you can't, you really can't. Whatever it is, like think about, this is overused term, critical thinking. Not everyone has what it takes to engage in critique. Not even of a video game from like 1978, let alone 1988 or 1998. Like, okay, reviewing books, dealing with politics and history. This is level 10 difficulty. Reviewing video games. I feel like this is one step up from reviewing a fucking rubber ball. You know, if I want to buy a rubber ball to throw it against the wall and see how it bounces back, I feel like I should be able to trust your opinion. And you can't trust it. The extent to which YouTube is this hall of funhouse mirrors in which people become increasingly enamored with their own distorted image. You know, the very slight sense of power, fame, importance that comes from being the guy who knows Atari games from the early 1980s, the guy who knows, you know, Evercade, like you're the trusted authority on this. Yeah, it's corrupting for the broadcaster in a strange way. And I'm making this video before sending this back to get the refund. I'm so glad Amazon has a no questions asked refund policy, because I consider this malware. I consider this unplayable. I think everyone should return it for a refund. I'm making this video because there's a strange sense in which it's corrupted me as a viewer. I wanted to believe that at least in something as simple as video games, you know, I wanted to believe that I could take my fellow middle-aged men seriously. And I can't.